Right now, 300 million swimmers are entering a race. Most of them will be dead within the hour. Exactly one will finish, and the moment it does, the color of someone's eyes, the shape of their face, and the hand they will write with are already decided. This is every week of human pregnancy. All 40, nothing skipped. Week 1. There is no baby yet. That is the first surprise. The count begins not at conception, but on the first day of the last period. The uterus is tearing down its entire inner lining and building a fresh one, tearing down and building up at the same time. The body does not yet know a pregnancy is coming. It is simply resetting, preparing the most carefully built surface in biology. This happens whether a pregnancy comes or not. Week 1 is not the beginning of a life. It is the beginning of the conditions that make one possible. Week 2. The egg is maturing inside its follicle, a cell that has waited in some cases for 30 years. Around day 14, a hormone surge triggers the release of the egg. The egg is released. It lives for roughly 24 hours. Miss that window and the month resets. Hit it and the race begins. And what happens to that winner by week 5? The first time parents see it, some of them cry. Wait for it. Week 3. The egg and sperm meet. One sperm reaches the egg and joins with it. The egg right away seals shut, a chemical lock that bars every other sperm. In that single moment, all 46 chromosomes are present. The sex is decided, the eye color is decided, the fingerprint pattern, the height range, the blood type, locked in the next 10 seconds. The joined egg is now a zygote, smaller than the period at the end of this sentence. It divides once, then again, tumbling down the fallopian tube toward its home. Week 4. The cluster of cells, now called a blastocyst, burrows into the uterine lining. It releases enzymes that dissolve the tissue and anchor it in place. The moment it settles in, it starts producing HCG, the hormone a pregnancy test detects. HCG doubles roughly every 48 hours. It is also the hormone behind morning sickness. The body is being rewritten by hormones, and the rewrite has already begun. Week 5. A tube of cells folds over and starts to beat. The neural tube, the structure that will become the brain and spinal cord, closes along its length. The heart, not yet a full 4-room organ, but a simple U-shaped tube of muscle, begins contracting about 110 times a minute. No nervous system is telling it to do this. It just starts. The embryo is now about the size of a sesame seed. Hold it on a fingertip and you would barely feel the weight. And yet it already has a pulse. If you are enjoying this so far, kindly subscribe to the channel. You help us make more of these videos. Week 6. The heartbeat is now visible on ultrasound, a small flicker on a screen, 100 to 160 beats per minute. 2 dark spots mark where the eyes will be. 2 small pits mark where the nostrils will open. Morning sickness often peaks around now. The cause is that same HCG surge, possibly combined with a sharper sense of smell that nature may have built in to steer pregnant women away from spoiled food. It is miserable. It is also, for many, the first sign that everything is going as it should. Week 7. The brain is adding roughly 250,000 new neurons every single minute. Not per hour, per minute. That is 4,000 new brain cells every second. The arm buds now have webbed hands at their tips. The embryo is curled into a C shape, about the size of a blueberry. It moves constantly, tiny, random twitches, but the mother cannot feel any of it. The nervous system is not connected enough to control anything. It is practice, in the dark, with no audience. Week 8. Fingers and toes are forming, still webbed. The tail, yes, every human embryo has a tail in early development, is being pulled back into the body. The embryo now has clear elbows. It turns and kicks and rolls inside the amniotic sac, and none of it is felt. 4 weeks from now, there is a quiet takeover inside the womb. Power changes hands. Who loses it, and to what? That is week 12. Week 9. Every key organ has begun forming. The heart now has 4 chambers. The liver is making blood cells. The kidneys are filtering. Cartilage is hardening into bone. The embryo weighs less than a grape. It has eyelids, though they are fused shut. It has earlobes. It has a jaw. The change from a cluster of plain, unformed cells to something with a jaw and a heartbeat has taken 9 weeks. That is the fastest structural build in all of biology. Week 10. The embryo officially becomes not just a name change. It marks the moment when the basic structure is complete and the work shifts from building to growing. The fingers separate. Each one is now distinct. The fetus is about the size of a strawberry. It can open and close its mouth. It can turn its head. It is doing all of this inside a space roughly the size of a large egg. Week 11. The fetus is swallowing amniotic fluid and hiccuping. These are not signs of distress. They are the earliest practice runs for the muscles that will eventually breathe and eat. Tooth buds have formed beneath the gums, all 20 primary teeth already present, waiting. The face is clearly human now. The forehead is large, the chin is small, the eyes are wide set. It is moving toward a face that someone will one day know across a room. Week 12. Reflexes arrive. Touch the fetus's palm and it curls its fingers. Stroke its lip and it opens its mouth. These responses are fully automatic. The brain is not involved yet. The wiring is simply being laid. This week also marks a big handover. The placenta takes over hormone production. The pregnancy is no longer dependent on that short-term structure. The miscarriage risk, highest in these first weeks, drops sharply. Most people announce their pregnancy around now, and the biology explains why. The first trimester ends here. In 6 weeks, the outside world reaches this baby for the first time. Hold that thought until week 18. Week 13. Fingerprints are forming. The ridges develop from the pressure of the fetus pressing its hands against the amniotic sac walls. No two people in all of human history have had the same fingerprints, not even identical twins. The vocal cords are forming too. They will not produce sound for months. The structure that will one day say the first word, sing the first song, whisper a secret. It is being built right now. Week 14. Fine downy hair called lanugo begins to cover the entire body. It may help control temperature or anchor the protective coating that will come later. The face is making its first expressions, not deliberate ones, just muscles firing randomly. The fetus frowns, it grimaces, it squints. The face is rehearsing. Week 15. The eyes are still fused shut, but the fetus can sense light. Hold a bright torch against the belly, and the fetus turns away. Light is passing through the abdominal wall, through the uterus, and registering as something to avoid. Taste buds are present and working. The amniotic fluid carries flavors from everything the mother eats. The fetus is tasting garlic, vanilla, carrots, whatever is on the menu. Preferences formed now may carry on after birth. Week 16. Real, felt movement. For some mothers, especially those who have been pregnant before, the first kicks arrive this week. They feel like bubbles, or a light flutter, or a fish turning. Easy to miss, easy to mistake for something else. The fetus is now about the size of an avocado. It has been moving for weeks. This is simply the first time the walls are thin enough and the baby strong enough for the message to get through. Week 17. Fat storage begins. The fetus has been almost entirely lean until now, visible veins under see-through skin. Now it starts building the fat layer that will insulate it and fuel it after birth. The skeleton is hardening, soft cartilage replaced by calcium-rich bone throughout the body. The fetus is about 13 centimeters long, roughly the weight of a turnip. 6 weeks ago, you were promised the outside world would reach this baby. This is the week. Week 18. The ears are working. Sound travels through amniotic fluid and reaches the inner ear. The fetus startles at loud noises, a door slam, a dog bark, a raised voice. It can hear the mother's heartbeat, a steady rhythm it has been surrounded by for months. This week, it hears her voice from the inside. Not as words, as vibration, rhythm, pattern. Studies show that newborns know their mother's voice at birth and prefer it over any other. That preference was built here, in these weeks. Week 19. Vernix, a thick, white, waxy coating that looks like cream cheese, begins to cover the skin. It protects the skin from months of soaking in amniotic fluid. Without it, the skin would become waterlogged and damaged. Babies born early arrive with a lot of vernix still on them. Babies born at term have less, much of it absorbed or shed. It is one of the most practical things the body makes. Week 20. Halfway. The anatomy scan happens around now, the mid-pregnancy ultrasound where the full structure of the heart, brain, spine, kidneys and limbs are checked in detail. Often the first time parents see the baby's face clearly. The baby is about the size of a banana, roughly 300 grams, 1 cell to 300 grams in 20 weeks. If you are watching this pregnant or about to take in, save this video. You may want to come back to it week by week. By week 24, the pregnancy crosses a line that changes everything. Week 21. The baby is swallowing amniotic fluid, up to 1 liter a day, and tasting everything the mother has eaten. Researchers have found that babies whose mothers ate anise during pregnancy showed a preference for anise-flavored objects at birth. Babies whose mothers did not showed no interest or mild dislike. The palate is being built in real time. The flavor of the family's food is being written into the baby's preferences before it has ever sat at a table. Week 22. Eyebrows are visible. Fine, light, fully formed. The baby has a working grip. If its hand touches the umbilical cord, it holds on. The grip is strong enough to be measured. The eyes are still fused shut, but the retina, the optic nerve, the lens, all complete. The baby is about 27 centimeters long, roughly 430 grams. Week 23. The baby is making practice breathing movements, chest rising and falling, no air entering, lungs filled with fluid. The diaphragm is learning the motion it will need at birth. Born at 23 weeks, a baby has a chance of survival with intensive care, but only a chance. The lungs are the last major organ to fully mature. One specific substance will eventually change that. It is called surfactant. Its production is just beginning. Week 24. With the most advanced newborn care, a baby born at 24 weeks can survive. Survival rates sit around 50% at this stage and rise sharply with every added week. The lungs are producing surfactant, the substance that keeps the tiny air sacs from collapsing after each breath. Without it, breathing is like trying to inflate a wet paper bag. With it, the lungs can hold air. This week, the pregnancy crosses a legal and medical line in many countries. And in 3 weeks, the baby starts doing something science still cannot explain. Week 25. The baby responds to voices from outside the womb. Play music near the belly and the heart rate changes. The nostrils, plugged since early development, open. The baby begins making small sniffing movements, practicing for the breath that will come. It weighs about 660 grams, the size of a head of cauliflower. It is listening. Week 26. The eyes open for the first time. There is nothing to see, the womb is dark, but the eyelids separate and the eyes begin moving. The retinas are sensitive to light. Most babies are born with blue or grey eyes that shift in the months after birth. The colour decided at conception back in week 3 is only now beginning to show itself. Week 27. REM sleep. The sleep stage in which adults dream is detectable in the fetus this week. The eyes move behind closed lids in the same pattern seen in dreaming adults. What a fetus dreams about, if it dreams at all, is genuinely unknown. It has no memories, no language, no images from the outside world. But it has sensation. The rhythm of the mother's heartbeat, the pressure of the womb, the taste of amniotic fluid. Perhaps it dreams in feeling. The second trimester ends here. Week 28. The third trimester begins. The baby is blinking now, a reflex that will protect the eyes after birth. The brain is growing fast, adding folds and grooves that increase its surface area. The baby weighs about 1 kilogram, from a single cell to 1 kilogram of organized working biology in 28 weeks. In 8 weeks, the baby makes one final move. When it happens, the mother feels it the same day and knows. Wait for it. Week 29. The kicks are stronger, noticeably stronger. Elbows and heels press against the abdominal wall hard enough to be seen from outside. The bones are formed, but still fairly soft. They will continue hardening for years after birth. The bone marrow is now producing all the red blood cells the baby needs. Until recently, the liver and spleen were doing that job. The handover is complete. Week 30. The brain's surface is folding. The smooth brain of earlier weeks is developing ridges and grooves that allow far more brain tissue to fit inside the skull. A brain without folds would need to be the size of a pillow to hold the same number of neurons. The folding is what makes human thinking physically possible. It is happening right now, inside a space smaller than a coconut. Week 31. All 5 senses are working. The baby can hear, taste, smell, feel pressure and temperature, and sense light. It is surrounded by warmth, sound, movement, flavor, and the steady rhythm of another person's body. Nothing in life after birth will ever be quite this total. The baby weighs about 1.5 kilograms, roughly 9 weeks left. Week 32. Practice breathing continues, chest rising and falling in fluid, rehearsing the motion. Most babies have turned head down by now. Their head is the largest part, and physics and nature have arranged for it to go first. Share this video with an expectant mother, a father, or a friend who is about to become one. They'd thank you for it. Week 33. The pupils now respond to light, shrinking when bright, widening when dim. The same reflex a doctor tests with a torch in a newborn's eye is already working in the womb. The skull is still made of separate plates, unfused, with soft gaps between them. This is not a design flaw. The head must compress slightly to pass through the birth canal. The plates will fuse over the first 2 years of life. And now, a question that has been building since the first trimester. When the time finally comes, who decides it is time? The mother's body or the baby? Week 34. The fingernails have reached the fingertips. Some babies are born with nails long enough to scratch their own face, and they do. The lungs are nearly mature. A baby born at 34 weeks has an excellent chance of survival with little help. The fat layer is filling in. The wrinkled see-through look of earlier weeks is giving way to the softer, rounder face that will be the one in the photographs. Week 35. The fastest weight gain of the entire pregnancy, about half a pound, roughly 225 grams, every single week. The baby is putting on fat faster than at any other point in its growth. This fat will control temperature after birth, fuel the first days of feeding, and protect the organs through the shift from a steady 37-degree environment to the changing temperature of the outside world. Week 36. The drop. The baby's head settles into the pelvis. For the mother, breathing often gets easier as the pressure on the diaphragm eases, and harder in the pelvis and lower back. The baby is in position. Something is building toward an end, and both bodies are preparing for it in ways neither of them is consciously acting. Week 37. Early term. The baby is practicing sucking and swallowing in linked sequences, not just separate reflexes, but a joined action it will need from the first minute. The grip reflex is strong enough that a newborn can briefly hold its own weight if its hands close around a finger. This is a leftover from an old primate reflex, the infant gripping the mother's fur during movement. The fur is gone, the grip remains. Week 38. The brain is still finishing. The lungs are still finishing. These are the last 2 organs to reach full maturity. The insulating layer around nerve fibers that make signals travel fast is still being laid down and will continue after birth, for years. The baby is about 49 centimeters long, roughly 3 kilograms, complete by almost any measure. And yet the body waits. Week 39. Full term. The average baby born this week weighs about 3.3 kilograms, roughly the weight of a small watermelon. The placenta is beginning to age, its efficiency dropping slightly. The amniotic fluid is at its lowest volume. The uterus is contracting in small, uneven rehearsals. Everything is pointing in one direction. The question asked in the first trimester is about to be answered. Week 40. Birth. And here is the answer. The baby starts it. Not the mother's body alone, the baby sends the signal. As the lungs reach maturity, they release proteins into the amniotic fluid. Those proteins set off an inflammatory response in the uterus. The uterus responds with the compounds that begin true labor. Research published in the journal Science in 2004 identified this process. Fetal lung maturity as the trigger for the start of labor. The baby, when it is ready to breathe air, tells the body it is time. The mother's body responds. Labor is a conversation, not a command. Contractions compress the uterus. The cervix thins and opens. The baby, head down since week 32, moves through the birth canal. The skull plates compress slightly, exactly as designed. The baby emerges. The lungs, the same lungs whose maturity triggered this entire sequence, fill with air for the first time. The race that began with 300 million ends with one person breathing on their mother's chest.